machine. Gradient boosting machine, also called as GBMs. So they are very powerful. They drastically increase the accuracy of the models very, very well. So because of their ability to target the weak learners. There are other versions also which are available. We have XGBoost, which is extreme gradient boosting machines. We have light GBM, light gradient boosting machines, and CAT GBM, CAT boost. So there are different versions, but the basic algorithm is gradient boosting machines. GBMs, they are very powerful. They are designed exclusively for increasing the accuracy of the model, both regression and classification algorithm. This is both a regression as well as a classification algorithm. So in gradient boosting, the first step is step 1, specify the number of trees to be built. Specify number of trees to be built. Step 2, sample 1 is created with 65% of observations and square root of number of variables. Variables randomly picked for each sample. Okay, so the sampling process is done. Step 3, decision tree will be built for sample 1 and also predicted for every observation. For every observation, it will also predict. Step 4, identify wrong predictions and move them into sample 2. Identify wrong predictions and move them into sample 2. Step 5, replenish sample 2 with more data. Again, step 6, build the decision tree for sample 2. And predict. Step 7, identify the wrong predictions and move them to sample 3. Identify the wrong predictions and move them to sample 3 and continue. So this is what the process is all about. Here, sequential building of trees. Sequential building of decision trees, and each tree is dependent on previous tree per sample. On the previous trees per sample. So until the previous tree is built and predicted, the sample for the next tree will not be ready. So it's a sequential building of trees, and each tree is dependent on previous tree for sample. Another thing is wrong predictions will be given more weightage and pass through multiple trees so that the predictions are correct predictions. So this is the purpose of the algorithm. So wrong predictions will be given more weightage and pass it through multiple trees so that predictions are pushed towards correct predictions. So all of that things remain same. The tree splitting methods are again same. Gini is default. And second one is entropy and information gain. So everything is same, but only thing is here the trees are built sequentially. So one tree has to be built and completed, then only the sample for the second tree will be readied. And once the second tree is built, third tree can be built. It's a sequential building of tree, and each tree is dependent on previous trees for samples. That is your gradient boosting machines. So if you are looking at the tree-based models comparison, decision tree versus random forest versus gradient boosting, I think this is a site. Yeah, medium.com should have it. Yeah. So this is the difference between a single decision tree, gradient boosted tree, and random forest. So random forest is parallel building of trees. The sampling process is first completed. Once the sampling process is completed, for each sample, one decision tree is built. Since each sample is independent, you can build parallel trees. Whereas in gradient boosting, sequential building of trees, each tree is dependent on previous trees for the sample. So until the tree 1 is completed, you can't build tree 2. Until tree 2 is built, you can't build tree 3. So the trees are sequentially built one after the other. In a single decision tree, you'll get one tree as the output. So this is the broad difference between a decision tree, the gradient boosting tree, and the random forest.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, in gradient boosting trees, the decision would be based on what, sir? Like after the model is done, each tree.
Majority voting and average method.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So majority voting and what you call average method. Same final decision is again because the observations pass through multiple trees, right?
Yes, sir.
So you will get multiple predictions. So it is again generally what happens is you will get multiple predictions for multiple observations. Again, classification is majority voting. In regression, it is average method.
Yes.
The only thing is data without replacement. The methodology it uses is data with replacement. In data without replacement, correct predictions are downgraded. Where correct predictions are downgraded and wrong predictions is given more weightage. So this is the difference. And if you are looking at the algorithm, Western gradient boosting, the algorithm.
Sir, could you please explain more about what are you talking about? As in, when we
Pardon, I didn't get you. I am not able to hear. Can
talk
you
about some correct predictions being downgraded. Sir, I'm saying, could you please tell us what do you mean when you say correct predictions are downgraded?
See, what happens is, for replenishing the data only, the right predictions will be correct. What you call, it has to have 65% of data, right? For each sample.
Yes, sir.
So for that purpose, only the right predictions will be considered. And wherever the right predictions are there, it tries to avoid them to bring them back. Only in case of sample is insufficient, then it will try to bring those correct predictions into the sample and try to push them in. But even then, if the correct prediction in the further tree is wrongly predicted, it will only consider the previous prediction. So preference, when I said downgrade, I am saying this. See, boosting trees are designed to work on wrong predictions and weak learners. They have least preference to correct predictions and correct learners. They are only focused on wrong predictions and wrong learners. So they give more weightage, they push them further things, they appear in multiple samples, and that is how they are saying. So correct predictions, if not required, they will be kept aside. They will not come back. But if the sample size is a shortage and they have to pull them through, they will also pull them into the sample size. Okay?
Got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
So this is the theoretical algorithm of gradient boosting tree.
Sir, one more doubt.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, what is the methodology to stop this one, sir? Like, till what point it will consider to create a next tree?
The
Is
number
there
of trees. It will build as many trees as you want. The constraint is only the tree, and once it reaches your number of specified trees, then it will stop.
Sir, let's say we'll be able to reach like 90% of the data was able to cover in, let's say, 3 trees, and
There is no early stopping in gradient boosting.
okay.
There is no early stopping. Early stopping is used only in neural networks.
Mhm.
So if I say, I think there is no early stopping, let me check once, because these things get updated, not sklearn. We are in PySpark, right? So PySpark gradient boosting classifier, Python, effective Python API docs for more details. Yeah. So if you see here, features call, label call, prediction call, max depth, bins, min gain, max memory, catch, check intervals, max iterations is 20, loss type is logistic, impurity is variance, features of strategy all, validation, no. There is no early stopping here. So it will build as many, it will only stop after building as many trees as you specified.
Okay, sir.
And you also need to understand the gradient boosting. So gradient boosting is one of the important process we need to understand. What this gradient boosting algorithm, gradient descent. So gradient descent algorithm says reduce weights in smaller proportions and use multiple iterations to reach the global minimum. So what this gradient descent will tell you is reduce the weights in smaller proportions or increase the weights in smaller proportions and use multiple iterations to reach global minimum. Don't try to do it in one single go, because what happens is, instead of reducing the error, error will be increased further if weights are reduced in larger proportions. If weights are reduced in larger proportions. So this is the theory behind the gradient boosting algorithm. So, sorry, gradient descent. So this gradient descent is used by the gradient boosting algorithm. So reduce the weights in smaller proportions such that you reach the global minimum in multiple iterations. So don't do the thing step in one go. And remember, you cannot make the error zero. You can only reach to a minimum cost. So the initial weight and incremental step, see, it is going as it reaches the goal, the weight further decreases. As the incremental step goes, the weight further becomes smaller and smaller. You're getting it right? So initially we'll start with this weight, with a smaller weight, then smaller weight. Then as you see the error is reducing, you further reduce the incremental step weight till you reach the global minimum. If you try to reduce the weights in a larger quantity, instead of reducing the weights, it will jump to the other side and starts boosting up the cost or the error. So you have to be very careful when you are doing this gradient descent. So this is like how we descend from a mountain. We descend from the mountain in a small steps. Because if you try to run down the mountain, you will fall, and then there are chances that you will die also. So the descent has to be in a smaller step. The incremental steps will reduce further as we reach the global target. You can see the size of the arrows, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the gradient descent algorithm, which is used in neural networks, used in gradient boosting also. The gradient here refers to the descent mechanism. The weights which are proportioned will be slowly reduced to reduce the error. This is the context behind the gradient descent algorithm. It's a very powerful algorithm, which is widely used. Now there are different types of descents: stochastic gradient descent. We have vanishing gradient descents. So if you are looking at the calculus formula, this is the formula: weight 1 weight I plus delta weight I, where delta weight I is equal to minus n into derivative of E by the derivative of Wi, and then derivative of E by Wi is equal to TD minus OD by n minus 2. So this is the basic descent algorithm in derivative calculus. So gradient descent is a very interesting algorithm which is there to adjust the learning rates such that the global minimum is reached. So the global minimum will be reached based on the multiple iterations, not in single iterations. So if you see here, the cost keeps on reducing. This is a classic example. In iteration 1, iteration 0, the cost is 89. Iteration 1, it fell down to 84.97. Iteration 2, 81.3. So you go iteratively and then reduce it here. And he is using learning rate of 0.01. That means the weightages are multiples of 0.001. So this is the process of gradient descent, which is adopted by the gradient boosting algorithm as well as in the neural networks.
Sir, could you please explain how it is used in gradient boosting algorithm?
The weights, I told you, na, the wrong predictions.
Yes, sir.
So weightages will be given, right? I told you, no, the wrong predictions will be given more weightage in the next sample compared to the correct predictions. So these weights will be given in terms of minimal weight. So they will not assign large weight, like, I will give you 0.5% weight, 0.50 weight to the wrong prediction. No, the weights are given in smaller proportions, like 0.05, weightages will go to 0.10, something like that. So this descent algorithm will decide whether the weights, what should be the weights. I think in the classification, the learning rate is also there here somewhere. Checkpoint step size is 0.1. See here. So it increases the weight by 0.1.
Sir, weights as in for identifying the final outcome, or how?
No. Say let's say like this. Observation 20 is wrongly predicted. there are 4 variables. Okay. Those 4 variables will be given more weightage. More weightage means their values will be inflated by 0.01, or what you call them as the whole calculation will be done. If it is a classification, it will calculate the probability, right?
Yes, sir.
The probability will be inflated by 0.10%. So for inflation of probability, it has to increase the coefficients, right? How is the probability calculated? Coefficient into the independent variable, right? So did you guys study lasso, ridge, and what you call elastic net algorithms? Regularized or penalized regressions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
So what happens is the coefficients will be given weightage in GBM. So suppose the coefficient of variable 1 is 0.20, it will go up by 0.10. If they want to increase the probability, it will go up by 0.10. If they want to decrease the probability, it will be going down by 0.10. Okay, so the final probability of observation 20 is coming as 0.58, which will be classified as 1. But when you see your data, the classification of the observation was 0. So what you have to do, you have to bring the probability from 0.58 to less than 0.50. That's all you have to do, right? So it will create a weight such that the coefficient values will be adjusted in smaller proportion, such that the overall probability of the prediction will be less than 0.50. Thereby, it is correctly predicted.
So, sir, the adjustment will be on the Gini index that we are getting based on the coefficient.
Yes, the probability, right? Final probability.
Yes, sir.
Gini also gives you probability, right? Gini also gives you probability.
Yes, sir. I'm just confirming with you. Like the
Yes.
weights will be allocated in a way that it will have a say on the Gini index, so that will predict
Yes,
the final
absolutely.
outcome correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
The final outcome will be affected because the coefficients need to be affected, right? How do you change the final outcome? By altering the coefficients. Because you can't change the X values, you can't change the Y values.
Understood, sir.
Right? You only have to change the proportions, the coefficients. So see here, step size, aka learning rate in interval of 0-1 for shrinking the contribution of each estimator. So step
Yes.
size is nothing but the learning rate.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yeah. So this is all about a gradient boosting algorithm, which is designed to increase the accuracy of the models. So let us implement this on our data. We have already used the random forest classifier. So let us also do the gradient boosted classifier from PySpark.ml.classification import gradient boosting classifier. What is the function for GBT classifier? GBT classifier. So GBT classifier. So GBM is equal to GBT classifier. Features call is equal to features, comma, label call is equal to label. So GBM model is equal to GBM dot fit output. We have to change the max bins again from max bins is equal to 34. All of you guys are comfortable with Excel?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
GBM model dot, so we have these functions. GBM model predict is equal to GBM model dot transform output. So evaluator dot evaluate GBM predict. The accuracy is 91.97. Slightly better accuracy than we are boosting what you call the bagging method. Can we give the number of trees here?
Here you didn't specify the number of trees,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm checking.
Okay.
So max wins, checkpoint, iterations, number of trees. So number of feature sub-strategy have. So feature sub-strategy is equal to param. We have to give num trees double equal to 1. If number trees is greater than 1, for a set to square root for classification and to 1/3 for regression. Use all features, 1/3 of the features, square root use square root number of features, log 2, use log 2 number of features. So where n is a this thing. So you have to give it as feature sub-strategy num trees. Num trees is equal to so we have to give it as feature param is not defined. Yeah, param is there. Why it is saying not defined? Okay. Yes, change of this is there. The green GPT classified. Guys, can you also search if there is any way we can give number trees? Databricks blog. Did anybody get any chance of finding where we can give trees?
I'm looking on it.
So we can include few guidelines for using GPTs. The parameter saying is loss, number of iterations, and learning rate.
So I was thinking in documentation, there's a getter and setter for your feature subset strategy. So
Ah.
can we use that?
Yeah, give me how to use it.
I don't know how to use it, but if there is a setter function, if we first declare it normally and then set it explicitly, the number of trees, ideally it should work, right?
Sir, is there any n
Actually, they're talking
estimators
about
argument?
loss, iterations, and learning rate only. They're not talking about the number of trees. See, they're not talking about number of trees. They are only talking about iterations and this thing. So trees, I think this is automatic setting of trees is there. Because in the code, wherever they are given, see, they have not given, they are giving number of iterations loss as the arguments, not than that. So we don't, I think, control F. So I think we can't give the number of trees argument here. Okay, I'll get back to you. Let me check with the documentation. All right. So for the time being, let us use this because number of trees is not taking, the argument is not taking. Default is auto, so it will decide on its own.
So like there is these things that we can take, like all or none are the option, all or forest are the options there. So so if you see that if numtree is equals to 1, set to all. If numtree is more than 1, forest.
Yeah.
So your feature substrate strategy, it has to be either of these string values, all or forest.
Okay.
Or like 1/3. Like these are the legitimate values you can give in the constructor of the function.
Yeah, that's what feature subset strategy.
Equals to all or equals to forest if we want more than one
Yes.
tree.
Feature sub-strategy is equal to,
If you just with forest, yeah.
yes, you're right there. Oh, invalid value forest. When you're
Oh.
running the model, it is giving invalid output.
Oh, okay, okay.
Let me check once. I think earlier also I have not given this tree. It automatically detects is what I also found out. But in R we can give. All right. So this is your boosting trees, which are in the tree-based models. Now from tree-based models, let us get into neural networks. Did you guys study neural networks?
Yes, sir.